As we're getting into sports, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. You think you know your stuff? Get into the winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get a game of blackjack or poker run by with one of our over 150 slot games they have. Head to the website today and use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, and get in on the action. Bet online. The game starts here. Code BLEAV, capital BLEAV. So next one's from Tim from New York City. Wonder what your thoughts are on the National League MVP case. It's seemingly down to Ohtani and Lindor, with Ohtani still the heavy favorite. I just have a hard time giving a DH the MVP award. Not question Ohtani's greatness, but if you take him off the Dodgers, they're still a 90-win team. The Mets, on the other hand, would be a disaster without Lindor, as he played in every game this season. At a premium position at a Gold Glove defensive level. Important to note, a DH has never won an MVP award. Curious to hear your thoughts. Tim, P.S. Disco, your incredible ability to get under the skin of the orcs is incredible. Wonder if you would share your favorite responses to your opinions of All Out, because I've found them quite entertaining. Everyone I retweeted I found entertaining. So I'm not going to go back over all of those. They're all funny. Everybody got on because I was questioning the, and I was just.
Do you have any, Joe? Can you look at them and read some of them? Because I haven't seen them.
Yeah, let me see here. Profile. Okay, so we're talking about the everybody's the funny thing is after All Out, they did the spot with they tried to suffocate Daniel Bryan with the bag. They did the spot with the needles with Swerve and stuff, right? And I'm just, and I'm from a position of, okay, these guys are not doing good in the ratings, are doing things like this going to bring the type of eyes to your product, or is it going to bring scrutiny, basically, which makes sense.
Right.
So I'm like, does anybody, like, nobody thought this was in the upper things thought this was a bad idea? I'm like, come on.
Give me
like,
real quick. This is my first time doing it. I see it differently than you do. Can you see the Twitter screen?
Yeah.
I can see the Twitter screen. Oh yeah, that's you on so you have the Twitter screen here.
Now, does that take up your whole screen, or do you still see my desktop behind it?
I still see you.
It takes up the whole screen.
Okay.
It actually looks like my Twitter, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm sharing. But,
okay. Oh, so you're going through it? Okay, here, let me see here. All right, so you're going through it. Yeah, afraid of needles, you're a bit. Did you forget this is wrestling where sleepers happen, you old. Glenn, you're a hack. Go work your shift. Cool, thanks. I'm not sure why mid cards from the old days are still mad. They never got the book. That's pretty funny. I worked in creative. Touch grass, grifter.
There's grifter again.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, it's like, these people are, and my point was, the thing I was talking about was, the concept I was bringing up was basically, is it a good idea to put this content on? And it's a question that needs to be asked. Are you going to gain fans or lose fans from doing stuff like that? And everybody's like, this is for the sickos. That's what Brody King put. I'm like, who is this content for? He's like, it's for the sickos. Brody King. Brody King doesn't like. No, he does not like me.
He's not like you.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him to watch his mouth.
I will probably watch most of the pay-per-view tonight. I'm behind, but I got to be honest. And we've had this discussion before about how as I've gotten older, the hardcore stuff I like it less and less to the point where now I dislike it. So seeing that there was needles in the mouth and a plastic bag and all this other stuff kind of turns me off to watching it. I'm gonna.
Can you show that? Do you have that spot?
So listen to show what?
Yeah.
Show what spot?
The bag or the needles? Which one?
Both.
Right, either.
Yeah.
So also Meltzer. Do you want to hear what Meltzer said?
Yeah.
All these podcasts are idiots who've been insulting me for years because, and he puts in capital letters, I'm the one who's been ahead of the curve, and you guys are stuck in 1990 or 2000 or whatever it was. Like, Dave thinks he's the guy that's like on top of things, and I'm put so that I quote tweeted that. Throughout wrestling history, if you weren't drawing enough fans on TV to fill your seats at your shows, you were never successful. Not sure how Dave Meltzer forgot that irrefutable fact. That's not stuck in the 90s. Because, bro, the thing with Dave is bro, AEW's not drawing. And I'm trying to bring up reasons why they may not be drawing, and he thinks I'm stuck in the 90s. And when I'm
Well,
talking
you've
about
got to remember, and let me just preface it by saying this. I have no beef with Dave. He's always been cool with me. I do think that a lot of his takes are very head scratching. I just feel that you got to remember, bro, he's the original king of the marks. He was, him, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
even Vince Russo, when he was Vinny Vegas and
right.
had his radio show, he was a mark.
Vic Venom.
Right. He was a mark. So he was like the king of the marks. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now that a lot of people try to him, I think he still tries to show, hey, even though I'm older, I still get the young guys. And he overcompensates by not wanting to offend them by defending them. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he can stay in their good graces and not be called an old guy like we are. Right. Like, I'm old. Big deal. That's not a disease. You're going to get old too. When I was 15, I never thought I was like, wow, 30, that's old. Then I got the 30. Then I was 40, that's old. Then I got the 40. No, it really isn't old. Right. When you're like crippled and you lose your mind and you can't, that's old. Right. We're old. Big deal. But with age comes experience. We lived in the 90s. We're not hating on anybody. It's just like, it's hard to have gone through something in the 90s that was so better done in so many ways than some of the stuff they're doing now and not bring it up without being insulted or ostracized or being canceled or it's like, and the worst part is, bro, they're doing with two guys that they don't understand. We usually troll you when you think you're trolling us, does not bother us, bro. Right. But I do think it bothers Dave.
Dave, and then plus two, I'm just going to state this. He lived. The problem with Dave is, I've said this is, he's very arrogant. Like he cannot.
He can be, and he didn't used to be like that. That's so funny.
But let me tell you, dude, you want to be arrogant, that's fine, okay? But you should be willing to debate people that disagree with you and put them in their place because you feel strong enough about what you say. I'm willing to have a discussion with Dave. He's not willing to discuss this with us.
Bro, he won't even discuss with me. I told him, come on the show. Disco won't be on it. And he hasn't even answered me.
He still hasn't answered.
No, and I'm going to ask him again.
So what do you say about it to somebody like that won't debate their ideas against a respected person in this, a person with a lot of influence?
I'm his friend.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is too, he tries to make it sound like that my criticism of the ring work is coming from a position of somebody who's being disingenuous because I'm trying to feed into my fan base, and my fan base are idiots, is what he's trying to say. And all I got to say is that if you were not a wrestling fan, and if say, okay, well, let me start with professional wrestling, right? And if you picked up the Wrestling Observer Awards for the past year and you read them, okay, what would you think if I told you, hey, what's the best wrestling shows on TV now? Which one should I start with? They'd be like, oh, for sure, it's got to be AEW Dynamite or Collision. And it's like if a normal person watch those shows and then watch a WWE product, and then I told you, that show's doing like 3 times less fans than the other show. The other show's breaking records and selling out everywhere. The show that they're saying is the better show is having trouble filling up 50% of the.
I almost have a feeling that
that's crazy.
I almost have a feeling that Tony must have told them, if you want to come to my scrums, you want to be invited, and you want me to ask you a question, knock it off. Right. Because if you notice, every scrum, he always gets asked a question, right? Mm-hmm. He always gets his questions in. And Tony, if you ain't putting him over or you ain't doing what he wants, he's not going to let you in that circle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's part of it. But I will give him credit because I remember last year, and he did say this publicly, they asked him, who's the Booker of the Year? And he put, it's not Tony Khan. And I actually popped,
right.
Here's a couple of things. I've been disabled for copyright and all that. But right now, here's the bag spot to start with.
Right.
And Wheeler Yuta's over there crying because he's trying to kill him.
Right.
I mean, like, you know. And Marina Shafir's in there with him. Like, that's surprise.
What does she add to this?
I don't. We'll find out. I mean, she's just
Okay.
walking around with Moxley, you know. So I don't know.
Put the needle spot.
Right, the needle.
The reason I'm saying this because I haven't seen it.
Okay.
The needle. I'm gonna try to get to. A lot of them have been copyright.
Yeah, don't bother. Okay.
Oh, this is the cinder block. This is stabbing. This is which one do you want to see?
I mean, they're all absurd. You know?
Here's the one where he stabs him
with what?
Like a wood thing.
Right.
Yeah. So that was jeez. And then I can get you. Here we go. That's not it.
No, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, there's another one. Hang on. I have to switch the screen. But it's only pictures, yeah.
Yeah, basically, Konnan, he's injected him with a needle in
inside his mouth.
In his mouth, yeah,
right there.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, you know.
Oh,
It's staple gun. I mean, like.
Okay, so dude, this is.
Thumbtack with the. Oh, by the way, I put it
to the crotch.
Somebody was saying that it's misogynist.
Well, that's not the crotch; those are her thighs.
But the idea, I guess. Yeah.
Somebody said it was.
Bro, you can see there's a space between her crotch and the thumbtacks.
Of course.
So somebody was saying that there was misogynist to say that the women like shouldn't be allowed to do this. And I might say it's misogynist to see to not want to be watching women do thumbtack spots and stuff. It's like whatever. Here's the deal. Bro. Do you know what my analogy years ago is come to fruition? It was spot on. AEW is it's outlier for a group of fans that are fans of that, and that's it. It's not. It's if they keep feeding into that and keep being, getting this extreme and doing content like that, it's like, dude, you're not going to draw people to your product that way. You've already got all these weirdos that like deathmatch, indie deathmatch stuff. You got them, and they're not able to sustain an audience feeding into that crowd. That's pretty clear based on the numbers. I don't know.
It just feels to me that like. What they're doing is they're trying to find creative ways that have not been done before of trying to shock people, right? So you've got a combination of shock TV and hot shotting, trying to do something that people talk about, but at the same time, you also got to remember that for every person that likes it, there's probably one person that's going to be turned off by it, or maybe two.
Correct.
And the masses don't like this because that's not what because we're not in the 90s anymore, bro. And blood and stuff like that and extra violence, that's a niche thing, Right. And so I'll give you an example. I started hardcore wrestling in Mexico after being in ECW. And it was a huge hit. I mean, huge. We made a lot of money with that. But as time went on, sponsors were like, yo, we don't want to see thumbtacks. We don't want to see excessive blood. We don't want to see light tubes. And I can't do that on TV anymore. I can get away with it every now and then, but I can't do it anymore like I used to. You know what I'm saying? Because sponsors won't pay for that, and there are fans that are turned off by it. So you also have to look at your audience's sensibilities and go, all right, if I'm turning off a big part of my audience with this, or even a small part of my audience with this, maybe I shouldn't do it. So we've had to cut back on a lot of that.
Yeah, but in summation is, dude, you feel, and honestly, this to me is the funniest thing. And Dave, they think that the E-drones are like the toxic, polarizing people, but it's absolutely the AEW crowd. So the toxic, they call them the E-drones.
What's that?
The WWE hardcore fans.
Like stands for...
Yeah, stands for, So, bro, they've made this TV rights deal into like a competition. Like okay, think about this. All right, I could give a how much they make in the TV rights deals, but all we've been asked about in the show is like, what do you think they're going to be? Like, I'm just giving analysis on what I think the rights deal should be based on
Right.
the program they put. That's it. Dude, it's like people don't understand this.
But
I
here's the worst part. There's an uneducated, feeble-minded part of the fan base who anything you say they hate, or anything I say they hate, right?
right,
And so they think that if we're not putting them over, we're hating on them and we want them to go out of business. Why would we want them to go out of business?
dude. They're literally booking to try to shut up their critics online.
Right.
That is the focus of what they're thinking. Because think about this, me or you, all right? Give about how much money Tony Khan is making or losing in AEW when his family's worth $13 billion.
Yeah. No.
I mean, just of course, and if anybody was just looking at it that way, nobody cares. We don't care about Tony Wright's if AEW is profitable. The guy running it is running it with a scratch of like a minuscule amount of the money he's worth, right? It's just his. It's like, but it just shows you he's not running it like a wrestling business.
Yeah, he's running it like a fanboy, like what
a
he is.
fanboy that has his wrestling thing on show, and we can grade the matches, and and now it's like and he's realizing this is hard to do. To do weekly TV.
He ain't running the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right. His dad, who's a businessman, is.
Right. Okay. So
he's doing the numbers or analyticals and all that. But yeah.
Right. But the thing is like they've got all these fans, Dave included, trying to make it like he's feeding into the WWE troll fans online, trying to lump people like me in with them. Okay, like dude, I hope AEW gets $200 million. Okay, which I would give the big deal because Tony Khan's worth $13 billion. Like he doesn't need the money, but if they could take that money and feed it into the production, make the show better, my viewing experience would be better.
Bro, I wonder, listen to this. This is just a weird idea I just thought of right now. Mm-hmm. Let's say that everybody thinks that they're going to get, because he said that he thought that he could get $1 billion, right?
$1 billion?
Yeah, remember that over 5 years or something like that, for every show? Right? Let's say that his deal was like, I don't know, altogether, right? Mm-hmm. 300 million, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he, without telling anybody, obviously only the network says, you know what, I'll throw another $300 million in there. So it looks like a $600 million deal.
Right.
For example, I don't think he'd be, it would be a stretch to think he would do something like that.
Well, here's what somebody.
Do you think that's plausible?
I don't know, but let me give you this.
Just so he doesn't look bad. Like if he gets a low deal, he'll throw in his own money, making it look like it's their money, just so he doesn't look like he doesn't know what he's doing.
I wouldn't doubt that because then they would get a W that they could argue on Twitter about. Right. Which is like all they really care about.
Yeah, because the last thing they need is an L.
And they can, he could fudge things like that, Konnan, too, because it's not a publicly traded company. He can do whatever he wants. There's no he doesn't have to show the books,
So somebody posted online, said they know. So I don't know this, but this sounds possible. I'm that they heard that Tony Khan, in order for the rights deal, he's having to give up more equity to Warner Brothers. Right. Like Warner Brothers has a piece of their company. So if they're like, if they're giving them more like things, they want more of a piece of the company. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Right. So bro, all this is just so he can make an announcement on the show and tweet out, so that Dave can come on and talk about, I told you they're successful stuff. I'm like, dude, but all of that, everything they're talking about, the rights deal and everything, bro, that is dominating the conversation now. They're still not doing anything.
Yeah, and there's no way after all this conversation of what's your right deal, how much you're going to make, that he's going to come out in public with a low number. Zero way that's happening.
And it's overshadowing the fact the irrefutable fact, dude, you're doing 660,000 people on TV last week, and you didn't even fill up your last pay-per-view that you sold out last year.
And not
It's
only
like,
that, they had a
that's-
really low number on Collision.
Right. And I'm like, that's your fixing that is your
You're right.
vote should be. And like, you guys are
Right.
talking about our rights deal that everything, nothing's going to, what is the rights deal going to do?
You're gonna
to
order.
change
You're
your current-
gonna hire 2 more guys at $5 million that you don't know how to
Right.
use.
Right.
Right. And bro, we're not hating. We're just stating. Like I said, even with all the I've gone through with Tony, I like him, but
Right.
business wise and his wrestling vision, we're miles apart.
Right. Right.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.